One of the critical factors in next week's election, perhaps the most critical, will be the Arab vote. I'm Judy Maltz. This is an issue I've covered for Haaretz in the last two elections, and I'll be in Kfar Qasim on Election Day next week following up. There are currently 6.4 million eligible voters in Israel, and about 20% of them are Arab citizens. Based on past experience, the vast majority of them, somewhere between 70 and 80%, can be expected to vote for Arab-led parties. But what percentage of them will actually go out and vote? Voter turnout among Arabs in Israel has historically been lower than among Jews. In April, the first election of 2019, only 49% of eligible Arab voters actually exercised their right to vote. But in September's do-over election, 59% did. That made a real difference. In April, there were two Arab lists that ran. Together, they won 10 seats. In the second election, the two lists merged. The resulting joint list won 13 seats. That's out of a total of 120 seats in the Knesset. The joint list, made up of four separate parties, is an eclectic mix of communists, religious Islamists, and secular nationalists. What's important to bear in mind is that the more seats the Arab parties win, the less seats remain for the Jewish parties, and the more difficult it becomes for each of the two big Jewish blocs, the right-wing religious bloc on the one hand and the center-left bloc on the other, to form a majority coalition. In September, the joint list had enough seats to prevent Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from forming a majority coalition. It did not have enough seats, though, to give Kahol Lavan, the centrist party headed by Benny Gantz, a majority. To set up a government in Israel, a party needs to put together a coalition with at least 61 seats. In the last election, Kahol Lavan won 33, and its natural partners, the left-wing parties Labor Gesher and Meretz, won a total of 11. Together, that's 44 seats. Had they been willing to include the 13 seats of the joint list in their coalition, which they were not, they still wouldn't have reached the magic number of 61. Together with the joint list, they had only 57 seats. But let's just say that the joint list wins 16 seats in next week's election, 3 more than they have now. It's not completely out of the question. That would be enough to give Kahol Lavan a majority, according to some recent polls. Kahol Lavan has vowed not to form a coalition with the joint list. But would it really stick to its word if the joint list held the key to its majority coalition? Arab voter turnout in next week's election is not the only factor that will determine how well the joint list does. What will also be crucial is the number of Jewish Israelis who give their vote to the party. Many political observers believe, in fact, that a record number of Jews will vote for the Arab list on March 2nd.